All right. So it is week 4 of 6 weeks to success. So you guys are now 3/4 of the way through. Are you guys excited? You guys should all be excited and pumped up. Does anybody feel like their business is like prospering from this program yet? Does anyone feel like they've made some headway, like you've learned a little something, like you're feeling stronger as a consultant?
Becky, guess what I did this week?
What'd you do?
I talked to a recruit.
You signed a recruit?
No, I didn't sign. She ended up turning me down, but
that's okay.
She wants to pray about it first.
Pray, girl. Pray, girl. Pray, girl. Pray, girl. Absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely.
But I did it.
I was just here to say, but you did it, right? So it's one giant leap forward for you. That's the way I look at it. I know I was talking with Renee earlier today. Renee, tell everybody what you did that you were chicken to do.
I booked 2 parties.
Woo!
I booked a cooking party and a virtual party.
And how did you book those shows?
By using the words and the advice Becky gave me.
Yes, but you did it because you were chicken to do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm excited because, again, guys, you know, the magic is always going to happen when you step just a tad bit, like you tiptoe. Or anybody ever jumped in a cold pool before? We all have probably, right? And so I'm one of those believers that, you know, instead of dipping your toe in the pool to see how cold it is, you know, some of us dip our toe in the pool and then we ease our leg down in. Anybody do that when you're getting into a pool? You slowly get in there.
We live in North Dakota. The pool's always cold.
No.
She jumps in the ice.
Okay.
So some of us, though, we ease our way down into the pool, right? And then you have some of us that belly flop into the pool. That's me. Okay? I'm totally one of those people that is belly flopping into the pool because I know in the long run, it's a lot less painful for me to do that, to just jump right in versus tiptoeing. So I kind of look at that with some of the same things that we go through in our business that we experience. Some of the things are very uncomfortable for us to do. So instead of dipping your toe in, sometimes you just got to jump right in and get uncomfortable, because that's really where the magic's going to happen in your business. So tonight we are talking about customer care. Okay. Is anyone really passionate about customer care? Renee is. Chastity is. Anybody else? Does anybody think that that's like how we maintain lifelong customers? Yeah? Branda's shaking her head yes. Awesome. All right. So I want to know from you guys, what is your number one thing with customer care that you feel sets you apart from other people? So I want you to think about that for a second. And then I want some of you guys to chime in with me. So what is the one thing that you think that you do that sets you apart from everyone else? It's kind of tough, isn't it? Yeah. Everybody's quiet now. Why did everybody get so quiet all of a sudden?
I was on mute and my girls are going, yada, 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 yada. So I had to get them quiet before I could speak.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. But 2 things that I do is a couple of things I do is I track the packages for them. And then I'll be like, hey, your package should be arriving by the end of the day tomorrow. Or your package should be on your doorstep when you get home tonight. Different things like that. And then I will follow up a couple of weeks later saying, hey, just checking to see if you use such and such product. What do you think? And then something else I've done is and I just started this one, is I went through the recipes and I went through my customers. And so all my customers in the past year that bought the rectangular baker, I sent them a recipe saying, hey, check out this recipe for your rectangular baker. So, and awesome. I got a lot of good feedback on that one.
Okay, so we're going to go backwards to the very first thing that you said about tracking your packages. Guys, I've been doing this for 8 years, okay? And I've done 1,200 shows. And do you know what did I just write down on my notebook? Track packages. I never even thought about doing that, Chastity. So that's a great tip. We all have access, right, to the links for our parties. And home office has made it so much easier. If you guys have not switched over to the new tools, when you log into Consultants Corner, above, when you first sign in, there's a little toggle switch, okay, that takes you to the old parts of Consultants Corner or the new parts of Consultants Corner. If you haven't toggled that over to the new parts, you're missing out, because each and every show that you submit now, you literally have access to all of the tracking from there, one click away. So it's so much easier to find all of the tracking information for your people. So Chastity, I absolutely love that. That's something I will definitely look forward to implementing just in my business, because how many times do you guys hear from people, hey, do you know when my stuff's shipping? Do you know when my stuff's coming? So instead of us being reactive, let's be proactive to that. That's a great tip. Love. Anybody else like that tip? I love that tip.
Well, and like my other thing is like we all get, okay, Alice, just hang on. I know you want to watch Becky. Let me talk. Sorry. She's like, I want to watch Becky. But like I know we all get like the tracking emails. They do too. But how many of them actually probably do it? I know I don't always click it. I'm just like, it'll show up when it shows up. So I just feel like it's a nice follow-up showing that you care type thing.
It's a gesture, right? It's all about the gestures that we make. And my big thing is, okay, when I think of customers in general, when I think about other ways that I can engage and reach out to people, instead of me just sending a random message to someone saying, hey, how are you doing? Because when we send random messages to people, their radars go off, right? Because the first thing they're thinking in their mind is, hey, this chick sells Pampered Chef, and now what does she want me to do for her, right? So instead of us making people feel like we're just out to do something for ourselves, she's taking the proactive, thought behind, actually doing something just because it's the right thing to do. And so, but what that does though, is it lets you open conversations up, right? So every interaction that we have with a customer, if we provide a layer of customer care and customer service first, right? Before we go in for, hey, can you book a show from me? What can we do for them first? Okay. How can we reconnect with them first and offer a service to them first and foremost? Make every conversation that you have with them about them and not about you. And when you do that, then that's when you're going to see that you get different kinds of results, because it immediately, like we've been telling you guys all along, that you have to find ways to get people to drop their guard a little bit. And so that's one way you can get people to drop their guard, is by providing a service to them first. Okay? Service is selling. All right. Who else has something that sets you apart? Something else that you do that sets you apart?
Becky.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that when my host has an online order, it's kind of nice to reach out to them and let them know, hey, you got another order and what it was, and like make them be excited about that much more closer to their goal. Hey, you only need, whatever it might be, and okay, you wanted that rock crock, and things like that. So kind of, I think it makes them feel like they're important.
Absolutely.
I think.
Absolutely.
So.
And I'll tell you the other reason why, Trisha, you bring up a really good point, because again, going back to what Chastity said a minute ago, yes, everybody gets tracking for their orders when they process, but how many people actually go to their email and check for it? So the same thing happens with our hosts when they're getting orders. How many of your hosts actually know when they're getting orders versus them shooting you a message saying, hey, do I have any orders yet? Or, hey, where am I on sales, right? So instead, if we do the, again, proactive outreach to our hosts and say, hey, Trisha, oh my gosh, did you just see that you got an order? Way to go. This also, again, going back to our recruiting a couple weeks ago, remember what happens, when we get to the 300 and the 400 mark, remember what happens? Kit credit, right? So this is just kind of gearing them up then mentally. They know they're having a banging show. They know they're getting close to all those rewards. And if you've done your job from the get-go with the whole kit credit, they know that, okay, man, I'm getting close. I'm getting close to that kit credit if you've done the reminders thus far. Okay, so that's a great.
And Becky, I'm sorry. I was going to say, and this is the one that we were working with. Remember, I sent you a message and like thinking, she's never hosted a show. She's never, being my sister-in-law, like you said, get out of that comfort zone. And, that was a big deal, and who'd have thought, and now she's like so excited. So
yeah. And that's just it, guys. Sometimes people book parties because they're helping us, right? They're not excited about it. They're not excited about hosting a party. They're doing it for you, strictly for you. Because number one, they don't have a belief in themselves that they can host a party. And especially if you're working with people that have had a lot of flop shows in the past for other direct sale companies, their automatic thought when you ask them to host a party is, oh, well, I've had parties before and they never turned out. How many of you guys have heard that before? Most of us have probably heard that before. Okay, so automatically when someone is getting ready to have a party with us, even if we've never had one with them, if they've had bad experiences in the past, they come into it with the belief that they can't do it. Kind of like we have a belief in ourselves sometimes that we can't do things. And so, when they start seeing that they're getting orders, that belief changes. And what happens when the belief changes, guys? The magic happens, right? All things are possible. We see all things are possible. Okay? So just like it happens for us, it happens for them also. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. So love it, Miss Trisha. All right, who else has something that they do that sets themselves apart in the customer care area? These are great tips so far, guys. Nobody else? Okay, so let's be a little honest here for a second. How many of you guys feel like you do a stellar job with customer service? Okay, so if I had to go through and ask you guys right now, some of you have only been in the business a month, 2 months. Some of you have been in the business for 2 years, 3 years. Where on a scale of 1 to 10 do you rate yourself in customer service? I want you to write it down. You don't have to tell me, but I want you to write it down. Where do you rate yourself on customer service? Customer service, in my mind, is all of those things that we don't want to do. Okay? You guys know what I'm talking about. Customer service kind of envelops lots of things, from thanking them after they've placed an order, to following up when their products arrive, to checking in a couple months later to making sure that they're having a great experience with their products and send them a recipe, to, 10, 11 months later, you're still checking in with them. Okay? Customer service envelops having a relationship, knowing them and their families. It's knowing what they already have in their closets or in their kitchens. Knowing what products that are on their wish list and being able to reach out to them when they come on special. Okay. So all of those things kind of encompass what customer care and customer service is all about. It's the way to follow up with them, but it also becomes a way for us to follow up for ourselves. Okay. So it can't be a one-sided conversation, though. We can't just be reaching out to people for how it can benefit us. It has to be for us and for them both. So does anyone want to share what they feel that they are on a scale of 1 to 10? And it's okay, because I'm going to tell you guys where I rate myself. Is anyone interested to know where I would rate myself at? All right, nobody. Does anyone want to share? Where are you at on your customer service scale, 1 to 10? Oh, Laura's going to be honest. Laura's ready.
I'd say probably like a 1 or a 2.
A 1 or a 2. Okay. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with being where you're at. Okay. Sometimes it's better knowing where you're at than pretending like you're somewhere else. Okay? So where do you guys think I would rate myself on customer service, being 8 years into this business? What do you guys think I would rate myself?
A 6, maybe.
What'd you say, Branda? You had your hands up.
I say a 6, Milk.
I was
Lauren
going to
says a
say
6.
6 or a 7.
6 or 7? Okay.
That's about where I would go to for you.
Milk
7 and 7. Okay.
Yo, you want the whole thing?
All right. So me and Megan had this all worked out because, and I'm going to share for her, she's not here, but this is something that we talked about and discussed. That, believe it or not, neither one of us do a stellar job with customer service. Okay. I would probably rate my business customer service wise for a 4. Okay. Does that blow anyone's mind that I would be honest enough to tell you that? Yeah. And Megan was probably right about there too. We didn't talk numbers earlier, but I know we both shared that we both suck at it. So knowing what I know, that I'm a 4 on the customer service scale in my own mind, that gives me a lot of potential, right? That gives me a ton of potential. If you guys could think where my business is at right now, 8 years into this, okay, I have been an elite seller for 7 out of 8 years, which means that I do over $60,000 a year in sales. And actually last year I did $97,000 in sales. Okay, so imagine if I were a 7 instead of a 4 on customer care. What potential could my business have? You guys think that I could definitely break a 6-figure total per year? Right? Could I add another 25 recruits in a year from doing that? Could I earn top trip instead of, earn the elite trip instead of just earning the top trip? Could I do all those things? Absolutely. So what gets in the way? What gets in the way for us for customer service?
I always feel
Fear.
like I'm bothered.
Just wait. You can, but I want to.
Okay, so let's start with Sarah. I heard Sarah first, and then I heard Laura, and I heard Chastity. So we'll start with Sarah first.
I feel like I'm bothering people
Okay.
because they don't always answer and they are not always receptive. So in my brain, which is overanalyzes everything already, I'm like, oh man, like I bother them. Oh, they think I'm looking for sales. Like, and then I'm really just trying to be nice. And then it discourages me in the future to keep.
Absolutely. And for me, I've felt that way for a long time too, that I didn't want to bother people, right? But I really just got over that mentality about a year ago, because what have we told you guys about when we feel something, when we feel like we're being pushy, when we feel like we're being aggressive, when we feel like we're being blah, 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 what is that actually indicating?
It's our own insecurity.
Exactly right, right? We're thinking about ourselves and the perception of what someone else is feeling without knowing how they feel. And so if we take ourselves out of the picture and just strictly focus on the reason why we're calling, which is to offer a service, then we're just doing our jobs, right? If you guys were getting paid by the hour to call your customers, okay, if your job required you to call those customers to get paid by the hour, we would all do it, right? If it was just our regular 9-to-5 job, and this was how we were paying the bills every week, and it was a part of your job, then you would just do it. Renee, you work for a call center, right? Do you like talking to people all day?
No, not really.
Not really, right? But why do you do it?
Because it's a job.
Because it's your job, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it pays the bills. So, going back to what I said, if I stepped it up from a 4 to a 7, imagine what that could do for my business. And I'm not getting paid hourly. So it's a choice, right? We're all making choices, conscious decisions not to do something. And I'm the first one to admit my priorities throughout the day are not always in line with where they should be. You know, some days I choose to sit there and look around on Facebook. Some days I take a nap. Some days I actually work, you know, but it's all decisions and choices that we're making. Okay. So if we structure it though into our time every single day or 1 to 2 days a week, it doesn't have to be every day, right? The best thing about our business is that we dictate our schedules, but you can't expect business results when you're not making business decisions. Does that make sense? Okay. You know, we're in this business for ourselves, not by ourselves. You guys have heard that, right? You guys have heard all these little taglines that we tell you over and over and over again, but really they're true. You know, nobody else is going to turn the key and unlock our business every single day but us. We're the only ones that can make that choice to do that. So Sarah, no, I appreciate that, you know, you're honest about where you're at, you know what you can fix. And I think that if you were willing to, you know, encourage yourself a little bit more to do it, I think once you start getting results from something that you start changing, it reinforces, right? Remember the belief triangle, right? Who can tell me what the belief triangle was? Your results reinforce your actions reinforce your belief, right? So when you start getting results, or no, I think I have it backwards. Your actions reinforce your results reinforce your beliefs. So when you think about it, if you are doing the job and you're getting the results, that makes you believe that you can do something, right? So when Renee started working on her chicken list and she got 2 bookings, now Renee, how do you feel about booking more shows?
I feel really good about it.
Yeah, you believe you can do it now, right? Because you kind of got over that little hurdle. So it's the same thing with customer care. It's the same exact thing. All right, so Laura, you said you were going to say something a minute ago.
I was going to say that it was fear.
Fear. Anybody else have fear? I have lots of fears. Tons and tons and tons of fears. Fears of spiders, fears of snakes, fears of customer care, fears of picking up the phone. We all have fears, right? What'd you say, Tim? Ferris wheels. Yes, my team can verify that I'm afraid of Ferris wheels. But I overcame that fear in Chicago last year. Right, Lakin? So our fears hold us back. Our fears hold us back from getting the results that we want, okay? And part of that really, I'll tell you, it goes back to the fact that if you've ever had a bad experience, that bad experience sticks in your mind longer. Laura's already shaking her head. It sticks in your mind longer than no result. It sticks in your mind longer than a good result. Okay, you always go back to, but what if? But what if? But what if? Well, how many of you guys believe in living in but what if? None of us, right? Because, I mean, you know, what if? So what? What if? What if tomorrow you pick up the phone and that's your next recruit? Just because you picked up the phone and called someone. What if tomorrow you pick up the phone and they decide to book a cooking show with you? What if? How's that going to make you feel? But you're never going to know unless you try, right? If you never make the phone call, you have no idea what your results could have been. Imagine, Imagine right now, Laura, you're thinking in your head, oh, but it's so scary. What if tomorrow, Laura, you pick up the phone, you get over your fear for 30 seconds, you make a phone call, and that person says, you know what, Laura, I don't want to host a show. I want to become a consultant. It would make you feel pretty darn good, right? And you would have gotten over your fear at the same time. You know, and so the more that you do that, the more comfortable you're going to get with it. So Chastity, what were you going to say, my dear?
I was going to say life in general.
Life in general. Yes.
You know, like, and I know like there's a lot of us that, you know, I work full time. I have 2 girls. I call him a son, but really he's my husband, you know. So sometimes at the end of the day, and I know like there's some directors, hang on Alex, mommy's talking. I know there's some directors that are like, well, that's a poor excuse. Well, not really in my opinion. Sometimes at the end of the night, I just wanna be done, you know?
I do know. Because when I go backwards and I think about why am I a 4 on a scale of 10, it is those reasons. You know, I'm realistic. I am not somebody that spends all day, every day, whether people believe it or not. A lot of people think, oh, Becky, she's gotten so successful because she's been working on her business 24 hours a day for the last 8 years, 365 days a year. No, not at all, guys. You know, I have what I would say are pretty general business hours, okay, for the most part that I'm sitting at my laptop and I'm working, okay? The rest of the time, I have my laptop closed and I'm not at what I would say my desk working, but I may answer my messages, okay? And that's just because I'm browsing Facebook anyway. Well, I'll just be real with you. The biggest thing about it is the fact that I do have hours planned for my business. Okay, how many of you guys have hours planned for your business? No matter if it's 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, 20 minutes a day. Does anyone have hours set for their business?
When I was pumping, I did.
Those are the days.
In the morning, I had that 20 minutes, you know, that was just me. And so I got a lot done on my breaks at work. I got a lot done during those breaks. So that was like, now I kind of got to restructure.
I always joke around and say it's amazing what a woman can get done in 20 minutes. I'm telling you, it is amazing what we can get done in 20 minutes. And so if you want to talk systems for a second, some of the most successful people in Pampered Chef that work their business alongside a full-time career work their business 20 minutes every single day at lunchtime on their lunch break. They spend 20 minutes of focused time and energy every single day. Now, yeah, they probably have other hours, you know, scheduled in there too, like on the weekend or whatever. But every single day, they take that 20 minutes and they make phone calls or they send messages or they create their shows or they do whatever it is. But they take that focused 20 minutes of time because, again, when you know you only have 20 minutes to accomplish something, how much more likely are you to get it done when you know you're limited on time to do it? Yes. So what I would tell you guys, if you're in that predicament where you just don't know where the time's going to come from, every day set a timer for 20 minutes. Okay? Have a plan before you set the timer. Have a plan for what you need to accomplish in 20 minutes. Set a timer and see how much you get done in 20 minutes. Because it'll probably blow your mind how much you can accomplish in 20 minutes. So anyone else want to share? Beth or Gail? Haven't heard from you guys tonight. Or Carolyn, anyone? Anything else that holds you back from not providing the customer service that you know you should or need to?
Fear.
Okay. So for me, I get in my own way. Anybody else fall in that category? I get in my own way. Yeah, I do a lot of things that really are not what I would consider income producing activities. Have you guys ever heard that term before? Income producing activities. So what are things that are not income producing activities? Things like scrolling Facebook, things like going to Pampered Chef Facebook groups and seeing where there's like arguments happening and different conversations and having to comment on every single last one of those. That's not making you any money, right? How about, I don't know, playing Facebook games or, you know, playing games on your phones or
Shopping Amazon.
Shopping Amazon, exactly. Taking my nap. That's definitely not income producing. Let's see, what else? You know, the many things that we can all think of. You know, I'm one of those squirrely girls. One of the ones I could be working and 5 minutes later I'm completely doing something else because my brain takes me there. Yeah, we all fall in one of those categories sometimes. Lori, you're laughing at me. We are sisters, I know. It's all good. But it really does happen. So again, I want you to question yourself sometime. Every time you're doing something and that little, you know, that little devil's on your shoulder and you got the angel on the other side, when the angel's poking you saying, hey, is this really something that's making you money right now? You know, when it's supposed to be your work hours. Hey, Laura, should you really be doing that right now? I want you to think about it. Is this something that's going to produce me results for my business? And if it's not, and you're in your office hours, then wait till later to do it. Okay? So how many of you guys have office hours set? Does anyone have office hours set? No? Brenda says yes. Yes, no. We're all kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
right?
I'm very inconsistent. Nothing set.
Okay. So again, you know, these are not homework, but these are Becky challenges. I challenge you guys to figure out where you can have those pockets of time for you and your business every single week. It doesn't have to be every single day, okay? But it needs to be something you're touching your business every day, every other day, every couple days. Because if you're not doing that, you're missing a lot of the pieces that make you successful, okay? So, you know, business hours, okay, working your business, it can be flexible, but it's not optional, right? It's not optional if you want to make money by doing this. Do you guys all agree? It can be flexible, but it's definitely not optional because nobody's booking the shows. Nobody's making the customer care calls. Nobody's making the host packets. Nobody's blah, 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 blah. All those things we know we need to do. Nobody else is doing that for us but us. Okay, so let's see. So going back to what me and Megan were originally going to talk about, the fact that, you know, having a system really is the bread and butter of our business. And for all of us, our systems are going to be different. Why would they be different? Why should all of our systems be different from each other?
Because we all work differently.
Right, exactly. Some of us learn differently. Some of us work differently. Some of us have different schedules. Some of us work full time. Some of us work, you know, are stay-at-home moms. Some of us had no kids. Some of us had 20 kids, right? Or somewhere in between. So we all can't have the same the same routines. We can't have the same system for what works for our business. But we're going to talk about 222. Has anyone heard of 222 before? Not like a tutu that you wear, but a 222. Anybody ever heard that before? Okay, so we're going to start with the first piece of the two. Let me find it. All right, everybody see my 2 days, a simple thank you? Everybody see that picture? Okay, so 2 days in is when your customer care begins. So 2 days after somebody places an order, it is a very simple reach out. It is a very simple thank you. It is, you can make this a phone call, Tiffany Staver, or you can make it a message. You could make it a recorded message, right? You can do whatever it is in your business that simplifies you and your schedule, okay? So a great idea I would have would be if you're someone that's working a full-time job, has a crazy busy schedule, has no time every single day to be doing this, the 3 twos that I'm getting ready to show you, record a video, okay? Record a very short video with the first 2, record a very short video for the second 2, record a short video for the third 2. Make it generic so that you're able to send this to each and every host, each and every customer. Does that make sense? Imagine how much time it would save you if you already had the words, everything was personalized because it's you speaking it, and you could just send it to people. So the first call, again, the first call is 2 days after the party, or what we would say 2 days after the order. If you get customers' voicemail, you probably won't hear back from them, which is okay, because this really is just to thank them for their order. There's no expectations from this, okay? There's no, you guys hear me right? Loud and clear. There's no expectations from the first 2. It's kind of like our ask host 5 times. Remember, there's no expectations for 1, 2, and 3, but 4 is where the magic happens. So this is the same thing. The first 2, there's no expectations. So even if you don't hear back, they're going to remember why you called. Remember that why you call is how you make them feel. And those are the things that they're going to hold on to. And those are the things that they're going to remember about you. That you took time enough for you to call and leave a message for them. Or you took time enough to record a video and send it to them just to thank them for their order. So this call would sound like something like, hey, Sue, this is Becky with Pampered Chef. I just wanted to give you a quick call to say thank you so much for attending the party the other night. Of course, you're going to tweak this if it's virtual. It was so nice to meet you, and I hope you had a great time. Thank you so much for your order, too. If you have any questions about your products, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. Hope you have a great day. That's short and sweet to the point, right? Okay, so let me ask you guys this. What is the easiest way if we know that we're not expecting anything from the first phone call, right? We know that we've got 10 shows worth of customer care to do 2 days out, 2 days after they've ordered. When is the best time to make these phone calls or send these messages?
In the evenings.
In the evenings? One would think that, but imagine if we're just really trying to send that first thank you with no expectations, okay? We've got, in your mind, you're like, oh my gosh, I've got 6 shows, and that's like 5 people for every show. That's 30 messages that I have to send. The thing I
would say like around that lunchtime.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we're trying to get all 30 messages sent, okay, with no expectations. We want to do it when people are working so that we do get voicemails. Does that make sense? Okay, because I don't have time, if I'm going to get other tasks done in my business, to talk to 30 people. Okay, so I know it sounds completely opposite of what you would think, because you would think that you would want to talk to people. But in reality, the first 2, we're just trying to get through. So we send them at lunchtime or when we know, people would typically be at work. Okay, so that's the first 2. All right, so let's go to, oh, wrong one. Here it is. Where are you? I have so many things open. You guys can't see how many things I have open. Oh, there we go. 2 weeks. Can you guys see my 2 weeks? Okay, so 2 weeks happens when they've got their orders. Okay, so 2 weeks out, are your products out of the box? That's really what we're focused on right now, okay? To make sure their products arrived with no issues. So the first 2-week call you make is to your host. And why do you make the host call first before you start calling the customers? Anybody know why? So imagine if I'm the consultant and I'm calling all these customers And I call Laura and I'm like, hey, Laura, this is Becky with Pampered Chef. I'm just calling to make sure you love the products you purchased from the party. And all of a sudden she stops and says, excuse me, but I have not gotten my products yet. Oh, snap. What kind of taste in their mouth is that going to leave for you from them? Not a very good one, okay? So I recommend that you call the host first. Call the host first to make sure that all the products were received and delivered. You do not want to call the guests to see how they like the products if they haven't even gotten them yet, okay? So once you know that all the products were there, there's nothing that you need to take care of as far as no damages, nothing was missing, then you make your phone calls to your customers, okay? So when do we make this phone call? What time of day would we make this one?
I would do that one in the evening so you actually have time to talk.
Gail says lunchtime. Laura says evening time. So to answer your question, 2 weeks is also done with no expectations, okay? So again, to be able to get through the amount of customers that you need to talk to, you want to do this on hours when they typically would be working, okay? And again, it's because there's no expectations from the second phone call when you're just making sure of their products, that they have them, okay? So what do the words look like for this one? So it sounds like something like, hey, Sue, this is Becky with Pampered Chef. I'm just calling to make sure you love the products you purchased from the party. I hope you've had a chance to take them out of the box and try them. If you have any questions or concerns, please call me back right away. If you want to be 100% satisfied, or I want you to be 100% satisfied, we do offer free return shipping within the first 30 days if there are any problems. You can reach me at blah, blah, blah. Have a great day. Okay? So again, it's you taking time out of your day to send them a voicemail so that they know that you're concerned about whether they got their products and everything's okay. But you're also giving them that layer of customer service to let them know in the first 30 days that they can be sent back if something's wrong with them. Okay, so that's 2 weeks out. So then we come to the 2-month mark. The 2-month mark is the one where there's expectations. So the 2-month mark, if you've done the 2 and the 2, the last 2 is where you want to call when you can actually talk with someone in the evening time. Okay, does that make sense? So why do you guys think that the first 2 and the second 2 would end up being the ones that would give you results? What do you guys think? Why would that happen?
The last one, because the first 2 showed that you cared, so the last one they're going to feel more cared about and more appreciated than just a sale.
Absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head, Lakin. Right on the head. You're not just trying to make a sale. If I've taken enough time out of my schedule that I've now called you 2 times to check in on you, I obviously am not just after a sale, right? I'm not just after a booking. Because remember, I told you, this is the way we make people feel. And if they feel something, then that's real to them. So what does the last 2 look like? Oh, there it is. So 2 months is what's new with you, okay? The third set of calls is about 2 months after the party. You'll let your customers know what's new with Pampered Chef and hopefully create a desire for something more. At this point, they're ready to hear about what else you're offering because you've already established that relationship with them by thanking them and ensuring that they're happy with their purchases without ever asking for anything else in return. There's always something new going on with Pampered Chef, so try sharing the guest offer, what products are on sale, if we have something retiring, any new theme shows that you're doing, the host offers, or what products are new, okay? So this call is going to sound a little different. Hey, Sue, this is Becky with Pampered Chef. I'm calling because there's always something exciting going on with Pampered Chef. I wanted to let you know that next month our hosts can purchase our Rock Rock for just $69.50 when they gather some friends together for a fun cooking party. Now I'm going to stop there for a second. Why did I say $69.50 for their party versus saying 60% off?
Because nobody can do that math in their head.
Exactly. Okay. Always talk real dollars, not percentages. Okay. Always give them the real value versus the percentage value. I'm really excited about my new Healthy in a Hurry theme party that features our best-selling veggie strip maker. If this sounds like fun to you, give me a call back, or if there's anything else I can help you with, I'd love to hear from you. Have a great day. So that's if you get a voicemail, right? That's what it would sound like. So there's a level of expectation, built in. You're sharing an offer with them. You've already shared 2 other times to let them know how much you care. And now this is the one where you can't expect a phone call back. Okay. Or of course, you're going to frame that verbiage around an actual conversation if they pick up the phone and you get to talk to them. So how do we go about implementing the 222 into our schedules? That's the real question, right? So we know what we have to do. We know that this is going to take time. How do we do it? Anybody have any ideas? Any time-saving things that you guys can think of? A way that we can stop procrastinating and start performing? So I say no matter whether you're a digital person or a notebook person, you need to have a system, okay? So for me, the way I have done this in the past when I actually did it, sorry, I had to laugh. But when I've done it and I've been at my best doing it, I had a binder set up, okay? And what I would do is I would, I would take my notebook paper and I would have literally a listing of my customers on a piece of paper. And I would have, the dates, the party would be dated, and my calendar would be broken into 12, or my binder would be broken into 12 months. Okay. And I would just literally move. So say my first 2 was in January, right? It stays in January. I've done that call. It still stays in January so that I can do my second 2 week. And then after I've done my second 2, I would move that forward 2 months. Does that make sense to you guys? So those papers would then move on to March, so that March comes, I know I have this person to follow up with. Does that make sense? So it's pretty simple, pretty easy, right? I think we tend to overcomplicate things, and that's why we don't do them. If you're a digital person, the way that you could do it, if you're a digital person, if you're like a Google Calendar kind of girl, you could set reminders very easily on the Google Calendar, program this list of people for this date, set the reminder and let it remind you that you need to do that customer service, right? If you're on your phone, you can set reminders from your calendar feature on your phone. If you're on Messenger, you could set a date on Messenger to someone, okay? So really the test is figuring out what's going to work for you. What works best for you? What works best for you won't work for me, right? We're not always going to have the same system, but you have to find one and stick with it for 90 days. That's the challenge, okay? You got to find one and stick with it to actually get the results. I know Laura's like, what? She's like, no way. Yes, that's what we got to do. So I'm going to be also sharing on the page. Let me find it. I don't think I pulled it up. Hold on. open one more screen. Let me get rid of some of these real quick so it's not so confusing for me. Okay. So you're going to see, this is going to be part of your homework. So I will upload this into the files here in a little while. It is a customer care tracker. So again, if you were a paper person, this is the one I would use. I would print off a bunch of these copies. I would get a binder, set it up. You can get the 12 tabs, you know, the months. They sell them at Staples. They sell them at Office Depot, wherever. I would put, you know, 1 or 2 of these forms in each and every month. And then you can write down the person's information there. And then again, move it through the calendar. Okay, so we're in March. So when you follow up with all your March people, your 2 and your 2, then you're going to move it on to May, right? Is that right? March, April, May. Yeah, you would move it on 2 months. And then next month when you have your shows, again, you're moving it on. Just keep moving them on as you have your shows every single month so that you make sure you're not missing. So this is a home office tracker. It's actually pretty close to probably what I would do if I followed the system 100%, which I am going to challenge myself to also do. I'm not just challenging you guys to do this. So you would have your after show follow-up date, which this is going to be your first 2 column right here, okay? The order check-in is your the other 2 right here. And then your monthly promotion contact is your last 2. Okay, so here's your 2, and your 2. And then when you're talking to people, if you get a hold of them, you can make other notes here. So yes, they want recipes. Yeah, they may want to host a show. You can make little notes in here. So again, just so you have documentation and it's an easy way for you guys to follow up. So this is going to be uploaded in the group later on because here is your homework. You guys excited for homework? We all love homework, right? Ooh, what happened to my number there? That's really weird. My number moved. Well, that's weird. I got to fix my graphic. That's going to drive me crazy. Yes, I'm that OCD. Okay, homework week 4. Listen, if you're listening to this in replay, make sure you post a takeaway under the homework post in that conversation. You guys are going to begin to print and implement the customer tracker for 222 going forward, okay? Your real homework, here's your real part of it. Once you've printed out the tracker, I want you guys to go backwards in any shows that you've submitted, okay? In the last 2 months, we're gonna go backward and we're gonna follow up with those customers to see what's going on with their products, how they're doing them, okay? If it's someone within the last 2 weeks, okay, you're starting off with the 2-week phone call to thank them, or not to thank them, I'm sorry, to make sure that they've gotten their orders. And then you're going to move that tracker to the 2 months. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're just really establishing a relationship with the 2-month customers because we didn't do the other parts of it. So we're just trying to establish a connection. And honestly, what I would do if you haven't established a connection with them is I would set them with the other ones that are going to go forward from your 2-week to your 2-month. I would put these in with your next 2-month checkup too, okay? So that you can, again, follow back up with them again. You're going to complete your weekly check-in with your director. Hopefully you guys have all been enjoying your phone calls with your directors. And you're going to complete your 15 two-way contacts and share the results with your director. So not too hard, right? Little bit of a stretch here this week. We gave you guys a week of yoga last week. You guys had a little easy week last week. So this week we're going to have you stretch out a little bit more. And I want to leave you guys with this thought, okay? How many of you guys have ever started an exercise program? A new diet? An exercise program? Lots of us, we start in the beginning of the year, right? What happens 2 weeks into that program? Are we still doing them? Normally you get through the 2-week hurdle, right? Normally you're good for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. The 3-week mark comes and you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to cheat today. I need a cheat day. Cheat days are so much fun. I enjoy cheat days. And then once you've had one cheat day, by 4 weeks, you're doing nothing but cheating again, right? You're not exercising. You're eating chocolate all day long. You're drinking 72 cups of coffee all day. So we tend to break habits because it's not as easy as what we thought it was going to be. Even though we know that it's the best thing for us, we tend to slide, right? We start something, we're excited about it. A couple weeks into it, we stop doing it, and then we stop getting the results from it. So the real challenge for you guys going forward, especially with something like this, is give yourself some grace, first of all. You don't have to be perfect in everything you do with this business, but you have to try, right? We have to all have a level of expectation of ourselves in order to receive the results that we want. So once you've kind of backpedaled a little bit, because we're all going to, once you've kind of gone backwards a couple steps and fallen off the train, it's okay to get back on. So I want you guys to, like, right now, promise me that just because you haven't done the best job in the past with this part of your business, that moving forward, you're going to do the best job that you can with the time that you have, okay? And just know that you're going to make mistakes along the way, and it's okay. That doesn't mean you fail, because the only time you fail is when you stop trying. All right, anybody have any thoughts for me? Any questions?
I just had a quick question about the first phone call. So is that 2 days? Sorry, my kids are.
You're fine. I'm used to it, girl.
So the 2 days, is that 2 days after they place the order or 2 days after the show closes?
You know, it really can be either way. It's going to depend on whether you're doing cooking shows or virtual parties. Okay. I'm a firm believer that, you know, with virtual parties, I would do it 2 days after they place the order. Okay. With cooking shows, I would probably wait until the party submitted and then do it. Does that make sense? I know it's a little bit different with both of them. I feel like because there's less interaction with the cooking show after the party typically, where the virtual party, you're still in show mode with them. Okay, so I would do the 2-day check-in after they place the order for a virtual party, but the cooking show, I would wait 2 days after it closed.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Does anybody feel any better about customer care? Does anyone feel like that they could do this? Or are you still doubting yourselves?
No, with having a system in place, it's going to be so much easier, especially if I have a binder.
Yes.
You're going to know what you need to do when you need to do it.
Exactly.
And I'm visual, so
yes.
I need that. So that'll
yes. I'm a visual person myself. I mean, I have a notebook, literally, you guys always laugh at me, but I have a notebook by my side everywhere I go, especially when I'm doing training calls. I'm always jotting notes. You know, I have one for bookings and recruits. I've got one for my lead program. I've got one for all my training calls. I'm a writer. Me and Renee were talking about this earlier on our training call today, that when I write it, I remember it. You know, it just sticks in my brain better than, you know, me typing something in. So I want you guys to just take a deep breath, okay? Just know that tomorrow's another day, and tomorrow could change your business, right? That one phone call that you can make tomorrow could change your business forever. That one getting past, well, what if, can really change your business forever. So if you're still doubting yourself, I want you to talk to your director about it. Okay, this is a conversation we need to know about. If you're not comfortable with something, we want to help you get past it, right? It's our job to help you move forward, not backward. If you have a total success win, like you follow up with someone tomorrow and you get I don't care whatever kind of positive result is, even if it just makes you feel good about yourself, post it on the 6 weeks group. Because I think the more that we can post and see and encourage each other, the easier it's going to be for all of you guys to see other people are doing it. Okay, other people are doing this. They're getting great results. Now it's my turn. Because why not me? Why not me? You guys all deserve to have a great business. Why not you? All right, my friends. I will see you guys next week.
Have a great night. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Say goodbye.
Bye.